everyone, and welcome to another review. Today we're going to go ahead and release or review a fragrance that was released back in the year of 1978. This fragrance is an oldie. We are talking about Polo from the house of Ralph Lauren. Now, Polo is synonymous with fragrances to a lot of people out there. Again, 1978, it was probably one of the first, if not the first fragrances I've ever heard of in my life. And that's simply just because it's been around for a while. I mean, it's that classic, iconic green bottle that you've seen. It's gone through a ton of reformulations since that time. All these fragrance regulations have kicked in, and I know it was heavier on, I think it was oak moss, but there's a particular note that it was heavy on, and it really has kind of transformed itself. Some people have said for the better, some people have said for worse. So it's kind of a mixed bag between who you ask. Personally, I think it's gotten better over the time, rather than the original, but I can't say for sure that I have smelled a version that is from 1978 or is the original reformulation. So I'll just leave that out there, if you will. Now, it's available in a bunch of sizes, but the price is going to range retail from $66 to $105. The sizes are from 2 ounces to 8 ounces, so quite a wide range there, and those are just the retail prices. You might be able to find it cheaper, but again, 1978, therefore heavily counterfeited. So just be careful when you buy this one. You could possibly be buying a fake if you're buying it gray market, just because there are just so many out there. All right. So with that, let's just go ahead and get right into the notes. Now, the notes of this fragrance are on the screen. I am not reading off all these fragrances. A lot of these old fragrances tend to have so many ingredients, and there's just, at least I find, no point in really going over it. All right. So on to the actual smell. So the first thing that I get struck by, and I think it's one of the first things that this fragrance is known for, is that pine smell. Now, it goes a little bit in a different direction of pine. I personally like my pine to be truly piney, if you will. I know that sounds really strange, but I'm really thinking of pine needles. And this does remind me of those pine needles, but this goes in more of a patchouli-ish direction, which is the other major smell that I get from this one. Pine and patchouli are the two heavy notes. Now, supplementing this fragrance are a whole bunch of spices, as you can see from the notes, and a whole bunch of just like other notes that are coming up through it. But leather is the other prominent note outside of those two that I mentioned. You start getting a little bit more of a leathery note, and that's really the main thing from this fragrance. At the end of the day, this smells like an old school powerhouse fragrance. It has this strange combination of coming off as fresh and at the same time coming off as heavy and dense. So it's like a fresh, heavy, dense smell. Most fresh fragrances that I come across tend to be airy and light. This one is a fresh, heavy type of a scent. And you can kind of see why this has stood the test of time. I personally think that this is slightly outdated. It has this quality to it that lends me to believe that it's outdated. But maybe it's just because of the fact that I've smelled this everywhere. I've smelled this as long as I can count. I've smelled it on guys, on men, just frequently. And this is one of those fragrances that becomes kind of you. There's certain people who are known for this. I can think of 2 other people off the top of my head who are older gentlemen who still wear this one. And they didn't even tell me that they wear it. I know they wear it just because that's the scent. I know that scent. It mixes with people so well, and it just becomes that kind of a scent for them. I generally stay about 2 sprays on it, just because if you go over that, you've probably encountered an over Polo spraying person, and it's very noticeable. So stick to 2 if you can possibly help it. Age group wise, it's definitely for the older people, I think, for people who have a little bit of more maturity, and maybe it's because I'm associating like that, but as always, these are just recommendations, so feel free to go ahead and try it out. This is a great work scent. It's a great, almost, I want to say all-around scent, but I don't really find it as a good casual scent. I've smelled it casually on people. It just doesn't really fit unless you're casually buttoned up with like a white shirt, khakis or something like that. Other than that, it doesn't really fit with that. This is a good fall and winter scent. Its projection and its strength is monstrous. This is a monster of a fragrance, and like I was cautioning you earlier, you don't want to spray this one or overspray this one like crazy. So be careful with it. And compliment-wise, not a compliment getter. I didn't get a single compliment in my testing with this one, and I think when going back and even at times where I tried this one out, I didn't get a compliment on it either. It's not that I'm saying that it's not a compliment getter, but I think that people have smelled this one so much that you'd be hard pressed to probably get a compliment from this one, unless it's somebody who hasn't actually smelled it, and they may in fact give you a compliment for it. Just kind of giving my reasons why it may not have gotten compliments. All right. So if I'm going to go ahead and give this fragrance a rating, I give this fragrance a rating a 7 out of 10. Now it gets a 7 out of 10 for a number of reasons. I was actually going to give it like a 6 out of 10, but the reason why I kind of stayed at 7 was, at the end of the day, this is a fragrance that has lasted the test of time. It's still on the market for a reason. It's out there because, there are people who still love this fragrance, and at the end of the day, this does smell good. But this is a fragrance that has to match with your personality and the way that you carry yourself. This is not one of those fragrances that is a one-stop shop, apply all. I think this fragrance's strength, which is its power, which is the performance on this, is also its weakness. I kind of feel that Polo would have been more successful with this one. And not that saying that it's not a successful fragrance, but I think it would have done better suited, or even been better for me, had this been a little bit lighter on it. I think I would have flocked to this one and been singing its high praises. But other than that, I think it deserves a 7 out of 10 because it's not an average fragrance, which is a 5 to me, but it's a little bit more than an average fragrance. All right? So let me know what your thoughts are on Polo. Leave a message, leave a note down below, help people out. All right? Thank you guys, take care of yourselves, and you guys have a great day.